Hello. Big bubbles, no troubles. Bag lady, get your god body. You know where it is? It's in baggage claim. Carousel number infinity. Hello. Diaper areas in need of sensitivity training. Steel dust sticks to my bubble gum. My imported Hubba Bubba gum from England. Drum and bass gum. My cavities are full of rat poison and asbestos. Babies learn slow. The lamb gods lost. The couple died childless, pelicans and vines, pelicans spilling blood to feed their young, burning pyres seen from miles away, melting paint, life without death on his head, youth without age, joy without sorrow, but what is that? Safety without fear, mom voice. That's the spirit. Why can't we just skip the annual demon convention? I don't ever want to hear the words fiscal year. One Sunday she fed her yoga teacher to the hyenas. We filled the streets with his blood. Pelicans feed their young. In the words of French Montana, I pray for Mecca, fled my neck up. A dad overheard in some pancake slop house at the base of the mountain. Do as I say, not as I say do. What? Doe, dear, you don't say. He was afraid of me. Why is everybody afraid of me? What do you mean? I ain't afraid of ya. Prunes of contemptuousness will wither us all. I feel it already. Watch out for the pearls before swine thing. I've learned that the hard way. There's a kind of trick to secrets versus show and tell. Some gems aren't meant for grubbers and slithery snake tongues. You're not going to let them lick your crystals, are you? No. Steer clear of half-alien hybrid spies, interloper, careerist vampires, and slobbery stinks. You didn't reincarnate over and over again just to get trampled by a bunch of creeps, did you? If a stranger pulls up beside you and says, "Hey, little girl, want some candy?" Don't get in the car unless it's Hubba Bubba. First place, Polly Pocket. Excuse me, I'm not trying to prove a point, peddle disaster, make you like me even more. My diet is called Mortal Kombat. I kill cockroaches, flatten them under my palm like Play-Doh. My lifeline is made of razor wire. It will cut you to ribbons. My senses tell me you like me more or less. My piety is absolute. I need to be more obtuse. It's so intense. She laughs and it sounds like pee falling out of the toilet bowl in reverse. What about a simple life or an ample one? Unconventional things. You start to think, but where does that get you? Excuse me for being momentarily. That was like, I go, what are you doing? She was like, I'm staving off the flu with small lines of cocaine and Catholic weddings. I barely survived. Do you love me? Does the Pope shit in the woods? I'm going out. This is now. Excuse me for being dumped or drunk. It's a lonely town, heartless, wretched, like you, so much. Hope in her, up, up, up. Friends finish first. Lanny. What's the time? It's showtime.
Enjoy your conversations. I'm sorry. I know no one likes to hear this. Please. Anything. I'm sorry.
Big poopy poop ups, big poopy poop cakes.
I'm sorry to disturb you. Can anyone?
Everyone's in their poopy trash bags, eating glass at the edge of the ice age. The woman next to me wears things. Stab me. She wears things. She stabs me with her single red rose at my flank. She stabs me in the leg with the stem, and I grab the rose and I smash it into her face, which I can't see. I see now that the rose is actually pink and white. Some science thing. The angel's what? I'll tell you. Anyone got any donations? His face scarred by burns. His line about face transplants laminated. People are quick with loose change, grateful for the chance to stare. Their angels are all absent, gurky, weak chi on the brink of the thaw. Nat told me to read a poem about love.
You asked.
Thank you. So I found this poem. Well, I found this poem by Renee Char. I'm going to read that, and then I'm going to read a poem about him. His poem's called "The Basket Weaver's Love." It's translated by Marianne Cause and someone else I can't remember. I loved you. I loved your face, a spring furrowed by storm, and the emblem of your domain enclosing my kiss. Some put their trust in a round imagination. Just going is hard enough for me. I brought back from despair so small a basket, my love, they wove it of willow. For Renee, helicopters caught in the wires, bless you, of a bridge. Helicopters caught in the wires of a bridge. I am not crossing alone. It was Renee Char who asked me to live with him in his cathedral. He said, honey, we'll venerate the bone, anoint the glossy bee, and plant ourselves beneath bearskin before fire in winter. We'll bear this together if this bridge holds us aloft. We'll make it home. My furrowed, moon-faced, hawked, and somber father, butler, poet of helicopters, carries me over thresholds in black and white, across Coptic light, acrostic hives of honey skins, bridges, our forebears, be with me. Vacation. When's vacation? Now, if you want it. When's vacation? I said to the day, maybe without sides. A rooftop would be marriageable. God, except God in an outhouse, bathhouse, anywhere is great, really. Coffins on the beach. Shelley's shell collection, trumping only his heart in a jar on my desk. Dead colonials, fertilizing our vacations without permission, as usual. Their fair hair, just spider cocoons under white sand, dumb surfers bringing obsolete casseroles to my retirement party. Aspic and sickenings galore. God in a gold BMW, caught in a web in the outhouse. I loosen my stays and bellow until dust motes apologize for intrusion, dispersing. Anywhere is great. For your burial, yes. Your beach house, your family's estate, your dog. My dog's name is Bosun. He'll never die. He's too salty. Lord Byron named him. Now there's another party crasher. Those guys, they never had Florida like we do. We'll get there. Parachuting in on our petticoats, our metacoats like D-Day, ripping silks and brocade, beached aviators gasping for air. Surfs up, I say, I'm broke. In tatters, always braying about the poorhouse. Sorry, Bambino, it's so boring. A rooftop is marriageable, but the sea will obliterate you. It will restore you. Vacation is now, if you want it. Let's just relax. Part 2. Crunch, crunch, crunch. The dog is a crunching angel. Oh, you are no rogue. Thou art more faithful than men, and I trust thee more. Chewy is a cat dog. Let's take him to the beach. Let him dig up old Shelley bones and not listen to politics on the radio. Whatever Agnes Martin said about that being a negation of life, the divide and own concept. She was right about joy, even if she was against having pets. No basket for her, gurgles Gertrude, smiling wistfully at the stag in the blue jay alcove, littered with feathers and glitter, sand from pulverized stars beneath our sleeping bodies. To be continued. Over the wastes of industry, I exulted. Stop whispering. Over the wastes of industry, I exulted. Oh, I've spent hundreds of dollars on kombucha. What does that make me? I'm not asking you. Am I wearing white linen pants? Yes. Did I cry today? As a matter of fact, I did. Did you? I cried for the ocean. Hello, Fukushima. What, you don't care? I miss my acupuncturist. I dream of him. I'm carrying around Joanne Kiger's selected poems, stuff about vibes and ferns. I'm so into it. It's fixing things. Belinus. What if your name was Belinus? I would like to surrender to something beautiful very soon. Thank you.
I was whispering to Charity that I was just whispering about who is next, and it's Christine Kelly. She has 3 first names in her full name. And Baudelaire wrote, "The image which skates around somehow in spite of thought with its basket and the basketball." Christine Kelly.
Hi. I think I'm glad that we started now because it's getting very cold. So, in fact, if anybody has a scarf they'd let me borrow, I think it would make me really comfortable. Okay. Charity's wrapping a sweater around me. Okay. So, I read here about a month ago, and if anybody was at that reading, there'll be a little bit of overlap. So, deal with it. Forsaken specifics. I hear you can now make your own digital quilt, Interframe Juno Hera, so I rip an ad out of a magazine for assonance software, the cause being pointless anecdotes in the attic of modern terminal generalizations. Assonant alien alliterations are smug and special or related to species. Evidence of this is being collected something else, and then something else. Whenever I go with something turning, surprising, whenever I follow my accord, I find tendrils that point to something else and something else. I also want to thank all of you for being here. I feel like I had such a sassy start, but I was so cold and nervous. And Claire and Charity are both really special to me, and there are so many people in the crowd that are really special to me too. So I just wanted to put some like warmer, cuddlier things out there. Particle horizon. Why critique failure on the things visible, the suggested part? All parts want to fail into an abidance. No omission appears except for one critical remark in the form of a naughty drawing. It defects, renders the arm, the leg, and the smell, explodes twice, costs the arm. I wonder if dehydration is like this. A stud finder detects a metal detector. I think that dehydration is not like this. The abstract in rage declares, my true love's orange is orange. The conventions of erotica. There is an image that decays past every worthless violence, landing on the two people who would benefit from an optimized echo, confection upon confection, confection. Do I dress for every situation, says Bathsheba to calculus, to which calculus replies, this situation prolongs my only pleasure within the anatomy of every situation. Bathsheba consults a market. Bathsheba consults her body, thus Bathsheba hyphenates her reputation. Compelled viewers circle the image with a pencil, while exhausted customers set aside their modernity alongside a month's supply of anatomy. Oh, whoops, a standard monopoly seems to prize the partial whole. Therefore, market misfiring works upside down. Decide how. Bathsheba and her ardent suitor toast to comfort. The cuckoo strikes. Celestial body deposit box. Oblong ball worth more De Niro than 9 nuggets, whether bars or bullion. I've got cooked books, 6 backlogs of wet checks and backwater methods for fetching nickel. I sell nothing for the price of anything, and that's not all. Don't forget about my bank stacks in the back locker, the fingerprint recognition pad that takes my index tip, as if by magnetic attraction, as if they share all colors and qualities. There's great stuff going on with 3D rendering. Imagine a moon cycle deposit box with matching circles for corresponding coins. A flattened ball, sphere, small representation of what matter does when gravity acts upon it. See physics through earth science. Now, check out each slot viewfinder circle. Try to find corresponding stars, planets, or moons, keeping in mind that these are just pictures because they do not have their own gravitational pull. No dense molten core, just flat coins inserted into a grid. If you can imagine a game of Connect 4 or a calendar of lunar cycles, then you're on the right track. It looks like that, but you can't see it in an ocular way, other little balls, because it only appears in the form of this description. Okay, so I have just a couple more from this very, very new thing. A little backstory is that when I was in high school, at some point I felt very suddenly deceived that I wasn't being taught all of this knowledge in an integrated way, like that, you know, science and history and English were all divided, and so I decided that was bullshit, and I dropped out of school. And now for my work, I'm evaluating a lot of transcripts, and I see a lot of, you know, general courses like English Comp 1, and it makes me think about that very particular kind of bullshit. Principles of biology. Zoological status retains its importance in kaleidoscopic self-imitation, sir. Your raster graphics on biodiversity, sir. Although cognitive science is attempting to demystify this, visions too frequently press in the subject of appetite. And believe me, I've tried to walk into the ocean to dissolve the contents of my wallet, harmless as I am, left a wad of the inedible. A stork said while choking, or was that a pelican? He said, the problem with you is the difference between your silkwood arms and your balsa wood arms. His statement is about more than just the many, or desire for such. There it already launches from the platform's shape, among other topographical objects. If these objects were like my libido, they'd be sneaky and remote, questionably libidinal. Good for nothing's aerial impermanence holding every appetite by its neck. Wait, don't go. Understanding visual communication design. That apparition has the space junk gene for transformation, appearing in such questionable forms. Vertical blinds superimposing laser-cut squiggles that feather the edges of bloat emerging from graph paper, or a very long stick that is also a vessel holding crumbles begetting fog, then reappearing as a dwelling where his or her life-worlding friends evaporate distinctly and specifically into other locations once ghosted, like that hearth over there. They are having a hard conversation about impossibly soft things, like how to life world so that it's understood as life worlding. Thanks.
Our last reading falls to Claire Wilcox.
Okay. I'm glad that you guys are all in the dark so I can see how many there are. Okay. Change. The fixed orb floats, attaches to two bottom lobes, and dusty. Now then, Homer the pig trots through France wearing a blue cape, billows, dramatically sniffling for truffles. He goes out and finds a pearl, two pearls for eyes. They remind him of Lorraine Warren's jets, her paranormal activity, and he's space wedged between toe and skin. If one sight of the brain dehydrates, it'll get wet with flowers. If thought's unmarked grave breaks open, ha ha. So that was like this one-off, and the next thing I'm reading is excerpts from something called All the Yellows Peaking for a Half Hour, and this is sort of a perpetually excerpty poem that exists sort of more in cloud form.
Yeah! Totally! There's something weird about being there.
Yeah. The mist off trucks seems to have a yellow, sort of vague yellowness to it. If you look at it sort of as a swath, there's a yellow haze, but now the trees are green. And in the rear view mirror, there are lights. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 lights, 9, 10. And on the gas pump, I left these specks, leaping black deer over yellow diamond, black deer on a yellow diamond. Butter patches are nailed to municipal metal barriers, debris on the shoulder passing through the grime. The butter oyster is different, is legal, is the bar of sticks. Souls and lights stop on here as on here. There is a tip of speed opened crowning pattern type of border. There is a corner leaching out. There is a newly sighted hiding past the interstice. There is a rhomboid partial moss on like a lemon cloud. Against the slight breeze, his belly across his shoulders, the stripe across his luxury apartment in an Art Nouveau font printed over a light background. He passes in his yellow windbreaker straight past the yellow print of third quarter luxury, lamp, bread, speckle. Green and yellow populates the storefront as the man potters through an ombre fade. And in the window also drapes his sweater. A woman limps. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Ties her yellow hair, turns her body against the wind, lights a cigarette, pushes her bra down and up. I shouldn't forget the so sleepy set of lights, points of a new windbreaker, this time with yellow tubing along the zip. And lastly, I'm going to read this poem that seemed appropriate because it's called Coincidence with 3 C's in it, and also because it sort of leaves off at the end of Bard, which is how Charity and Christine and I met. Okay. Trying to chew my way through the plastic casing of this set of headphones, I'm wondering, what kind of animal am I now? This is my first pen to paper since Bard. Anselm's comments about prosody are stuck in my head. Anne's comments about my being stubborn, though not quite, maybe haunting me. Maybe I've been a bit of a shit, enclosed, out of touch, and now leaving again in this new silent fog, or talking incoherently about a newfound sense of determination. I don't sense, or I wasn't getting the most encouraging vibes from Mom and Dad. They don't really seem to care that I graduated. No, soft, in love, excited to see what it does, as I note again my attempt to be softened by time and leather, multicolored, a hue yellow. Blue lights come on. Cuteness abounds. Even the cartoons in the safety demonstrations flirt. I'm wondering about that style in Taiwan more generally, where signs for women waiting for the train alone at night are pink, surrounded by hearts, and every garbage truck plays Fur Elise. My thoughts awry, I'm reading a New Yorker article about civil forfeiture, taken. Is one pearl necklace, U.S. versus approximately 64 diamonds, U.S. versus $6,000.37. A piece of property doesn't share the rights of a person, the author writes. I replace with, a piece of property doesn't shave, give it a slapstick read. The police had confiscated a simple gold cross the woman wore around her neck after pulling her over for a minor traffic violation. That's an example of policing for profit, she says. Sit down, he says. Sit in your car for about 15 minutes. Ma'am, you tell that bitch to shut up. So do I smile? I touch my papers, on edge of illness, all very quickly and moody in one day. A new wind faces the street. A man stops his moped as I drink iced coffee on a bench. He sits around, arched, and watches me for an hour and a half, stopping where I stop, staring almost without expression, dead-faced, in a landscape like this. 1976, Leslie Scalapino, age 32, wrote, "Satisfied this morning because I saw myself for the first time in the mirror as a mountain. I mean by this, I saw the scenery in myself, whereas I had eyes and veins and a brain. I was a mountain in the same way one has boulders or trees. How would this explain, I wondered, whatever emotions, such as affection, cruelty, or indifference, And I knew no matter how careful one is, pebbles and grains will be modified, put in a human form. I think it's not our shared interest so much as home in the shape of bread. I must be orange and green according to what I see, boy crazy, wanting pet miniature pigs, but I take this 2 weeks and make work, and as I move west, not true, and toward more familiarity, not true, I'm feeling more like myself. I kick and imitate the plain. The Black Sea is blue and requires a voiceover. Draw 3 circles, place in them the words, 2 women and not just thinking of eyes. Zainab, I'll write a long one, though in reality, I'll be followed by the words, Prince, Prince. And, scratching me, with a leather jacket and scarf, I receive thee. But not everyone wears little leather jackets and their hair, hard curved, makes my hair rest on my forehead, or should it flop downwind? There is a new angle of discernment. Julia Roberts' mouth in Taipei and Lisa Robertson's mouth in France, as intemperate swallows, not being able to process this shift into utter calm. The accumulation of forms, surfaces, realistic detail. Louvre, Day 1. Innocence is a young girl holding a lizard or a snake. Malherbe is a commandeering block or someone else blank-eyed. The Queen Marie Blanc, as if frozen in mid-step, she acquires herself curiously dripping, sliced, glittered, and candled in the shape of a wizard. My eyes have been in a store in the past, just as now they strain to see the realism of a breast pressing against a marble arm in a scene of mythological flight. I stand in an arcade peering through glass, but the polluted exterior is thicker than that. A different call to flesh, a different answer to my earlier being in the grips of needing to press someone, stopping in front of any dark inlay, anything that looked like a socket, including the marble curls on the bust of Voltaire broadcasting liquid, water. I see them, the fine bones of the ear gripping there now and awake. Thank you.
Thanks everyone. We'll take a long break. Good.